Welcome back to the Copycat Lemmings level solving commentary video series, and we will do 10 more levels of the Tricky rank. First up, Tricky 11, Bombing Blitz. Alrighty, only 5 bombers and 1 basher here. And we have a choice of 2 exits. Well, obviously, since we don't have any builders, we can't use the right exit, so therefore we need to use the exit on the left. So, we do that by making a turnaround point with 2 bombers. Okay, and then a bomb there. I don't think that bomber was necessary, actually. Yeah, then finally, actually... Yeah, it's definitely necessary to bash there. It's a high enough wall. Yeah, then I max out the release rate, and that is it. So, I would like to check something here. No, that is Splatfall. Okay. Yeah, again, it does not help that there's no Splat Ruler in very old formats Neo Lemmings. And as I've explained, even if there was, you wouldn't have any way to like accurately measure the fall distance. Yeah, with the cheapo increased with the increased cheapo fall distance. Yeah, because the Spot Ruler was assumed with the 64 pixels as the fall distance. Tricky 12, Lemmings everywhere. So yes, that would be the similar to Fun, I don't know, 24, I think. I don't even know if I got the number right, but yeah, it's that crystal level. Yeah, that has the exact same title here. But as you can see, obviously it's a very different level here in Cheapo, or at least Copycat Lemmings. So only one each of the digging destructive skills here. So first Lemming digs. Yeah, and then I go ahead and make the digger bash. So yeah, it's really all about assigning the skills at the right time here, so that the miner has more than enough time in order to make the tunnel deep enough so that no lemmings will step out to the left and then fall into the water. Yep, and that's already it. Yeah, just max out the release rate, but doesn't really matter since all the lemmings were already out. So I guess it's less of a little meaning here with the level title. Yeah, because there's only 6 lemmings, yeah, rather than like 50 or whatever the lemming count was on the on that fun level in Lemmings 1 with the same level title. Tricky 13, one for the Razorbacks. I am wondering if that is like maybe the name of a sports team or something, but I am not certain. So back to 10 of everything here, but a pretty high release rate at 80. And yeah, this is most definitely spot height here. So cheaper fall distance at work here. So first one bashes while we block with the second lemming. Okay, and then I'll go ahead and mine. So now the crowd is contained here. And then I stop the miner with a builder. Build over the water gap, of course. And that's already it to reach the exit. Yeah, and you need to save everybody here. So therefore we need to release the blocker by removing the ground underneath its feet. And then finally, after mining, yeah, we go ahead and stop the miner with a builder. Yeah, or a basher, doesn't really matter. Tricky 14. Tricky 14, sorry. Yeah, I'm having a really difficult time speaking right now. Tremelo Blues? Something about the blues, apparently. Alright, a climber, 5 bombers, 1 builder, 5 bashers, and 5 diggers. Well, since we need to save everyone here, the bombers are completely useless. So we go ahead and bash on through the one-way wall here. Although I'm not exactly certain why that is, since yeah, we wouldn't be able to build them out. Yeah, with just 1 builder. Although I think it's just simply to create enough distance between the lemmings here. He becomes a climber. Oh, okay. Yeah, I just assigned the climber to the basher. So wow, that's a pretty big hitbox there with the steel. So I'll be able to turn the climber around. Yeah, I mean, I guess technically we could have done it. I think by digging and then just bashing through here. I think the basher might have more than enough time. Yeah, before the others arrive, but I am not certain though. Yeah, because all that's left to do now is to simply dig the crowd out. Yeah, and that's already it. Yeah, then I just max out the release rate. But, yeah, I am curious here. Yeah, say we max out the release rate here. Okay, and then say we dig with the last lemming. Yeah, is he going to have more than enough time to bash through the terrain? Yeah, he has way more than enough time. Okay, so taking the way through here is not the only way to solve the load then. Okay, so good to know that a faster alternative exists here. But anyway, I'm just gonna go ahead and load my replay here. Yeah, and then I'll just skip all the way to the end. Yeah, 15, 15, and 15. Tricky 15. Jimmy was a stimulator. I'm not sure if that's a reference to like Jimmy McLemming, like we saw earlier, or with an earlier level. It's very possible that this is a completely different Jimmy. Okay, so miners as our main digging destructor skill here. Block with the second lemming while sending one on ahead. Yeah, he builds towards the blocks on the right side. So that takes 4 builders. Okay, and then we go ahead and build up to the left. Takes another 4 builders. Yeah, then it's just repeatedly mining until we get down to the other side. I think this might be barely survivable though. But anyway, yeah, we go ahead and mine in order to make a turnaround point. Bomb the blocker to release the crowd. Okay, and then finally stop the miner with builder. Most certainly could have saved everyone though, because we have more than enough miners to free the blocker and then also stop the miner with a builder. Tricky 16. Armitage Shanks. Okay, 5 of everything, except we don't have any of the digging destructive skills. Okay, so climb. I think it's just climber bomb all the poles here. Yeah, we don't want to bomb on ground level, otherwise they'll just fall to the bottomless abyss. Or the bottomless pit. Yep, and that's already it. And then just max out the release rate. But yeah, I think originally the this was made with time bombers in mind, so therefore it was only a little bit harder. Yeah, when bombers were timed, but it's not like a whole lot harder here. Especially since climbers, I believe they are slower than walkers. Tricky 17, Wicked Garden. So back to the high 9-minute time limit here. 17, right? Yeah. Okay, so pretty limited on skills here. And we also had 2 entrances. Block under with a lemming on the right side here. Bash on through here. Okay, build over the water gap, of course. And then block behind the builder. Okay, so it takes 2 builders to get across. Okay, build to get higher so that we can bash. Yeah, I mean, we could bash here, but then you would need to stop him with a builder. Okay, and then we build here in order to get this crowd down safely with that digger. And then I'll go ahead and release the left entrance with by bombing the blocker. Okay, then I'll go ahead and block here so that once the upper entrance is released, they'll turn around on the blocker in case for those that fall out facing to the left. Yep, and then that's already it. Oh, actually, no. One more thing. Yeah, bomb the terrain blocking the way to the exit. So, yeah. Yep, and there we have it. Yeah, and then I just bombed the blockers here. So yeah, it can be a bit of a challenge here, but once you obviously see that the only way to release the upper entrance is with the digger, then yeah, then it shouldn't be too bad. Although I think there might be other ways too, like maybe bombing to get underneath to bash. I will have to check the layout. Yeah, it's possible that I might be remembering a bit of it wrong. Tricky 18, Road to Acceptance. Okay, so 2 of everything except for builders where we have 15, and then we don't have any bashers. So we go ahead and make the standard 2 blocker trap here, while sending 1 on ahead, who builds across the gap, of course. Okay, yeah, we go ahead and dig here. Okay, then after a while, we go ahead and mine. Okay, and then dig again. Yeah, because we're going to go ahead and build to this platform over here. Okay, now the long bridge here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 builders to the right, and then 2 builders to the left. Yeah, then I go ahead and bomb the blocker on the right to release the crowd, and then I also bomb the blocker on the left. Tricky 19, Super Furry Lemmings. Okay, so only a climber, 10 builders, 1 basher, and 1 digger. So yeah, we need to go ahead and build so that they fall at a higher spot in order to not splat. So I'll go ahead and make the lemmings build as they get to the gap here. Yeah, one of them steps on by, and then same thing with one of the builders that just finished. Okay, so yeah, so that was actually a safe fall for this guy. But again, it's the cheapo fall distance at work here. So he gets a climber. Yeah, and this builder finishes in the nick of time to get them up here. But this is also a wall. So, 1, 2, 3. We can lose 1 more here. So, go ahead and dig here. Yeah, and this is the last of our losses. No? Oh, no. So, they're not going to be trapped in here permanently because, yeah, we're going to go ahead and have him bash the crowd free here. So, we need to get low enough here in order to build so that he turns around and then finally bash the crowd free. And then we'll... actually, it's not necessary to stop the basher. Yeah, he's just going to go over here and stop eventually, but I decided to stop him with a builder anyway. So yeah, this one can also be a bit of a challenge as well, but it's not too difficult, just as long as you manage your lemmings carefully here. And you certainly have the tools to do so here. And then finally, Tricky 20. Token back to Brooklyn. So, apparently something about New York here. And I've only been to New York once in my life, but that was way back in 2003. I have not been back since. So, more than 12 years. So anyway, you have 2 of everything except for builders, we'll be at 3. Yeah, and apparently they can stop up here, so, yeah, we need to block. And then send up a climber. Okay, go over the gap, twice. Okay, and then build across this gap, of course. Okay, bash on through. And then send up another climber now. And go ahead and mine through the staircase. Bash through the one-way wall. And then finally bomb the thin pole away, and that's it. Okay, it took me a while before I bombed that blocker. Alrighty, so that was 10 more levels of the tricky rank. So next time we will finish up the remaining 10 levels and hence the rest of the tricky rank. With this, hope you enjoyed the Copycat Lemmings level solving commentary video, and I'll see you all next time.